welcome to Fan Service, your geek fuel trip into the world of pop culture. I'm one of your hosts, Gavin Stone, joined by...
I'm Harley.
I'm Jeffrey.
I'm slightly out of sync, Pocky D.
That's normally Pocky for you guys. He's normally out of sync with the rest of us. So, we've been having a really good time this season talking about a whole bunch of fun things. And today, this has been a show I've wanted to do for a really long time, since I met some voice actresses and actors. Today we're going to talk about the world of voice acting and the journey of the voice actor, what it takes to be a voice actor, the ups and downs, the pitfalls, the perils, why they do it, the fun things that come of it. But, you know, there's two sides to every story. And I always find it weird because when I was in animation school, there was that big controversy about they don't hire voice actors, they hire celebrities for movies. It's a profession. Why don't you stick with that profession for things? So
Yes.
It'll be interesting to hear from the actual voice actor's point of view. So we've got some great guests coming on, and we don't want to spoil who they are just yet. You'll have to stay tuned for that. All right, so let's get this show on the road. It's time to get into the journey of the voice actor this week on Fan Service. Hey everyone, welcome back to Fan Service. We are going to get this Journey of the Voice Actor show kicked off, and I'm super excited. Jeffrey's going to join for the opening segment. Let's introduce our guests. Introduce yourself to everybody.
Hi, I'm Caitlyn French. I am the voice of Shiro from No Game, No Life and No Game, No Life Zero, where I play Shibidola. I'm also Mei Tachibana in Say I Love You, Chris from Cross Ange, because I'm going to drop that one, Tina Sprout from Black Bullet, Naru Sekia from Hana Yamata, I Austin from Sunday Without God, and a lot of list of little girls under the age of 11.
That was a really well put together intro for yourself. Mine is not that good.
I've had practice.
Okay, all right. Hi, I'm Caitlyn Barr. I'm also a voice actress for anime. I also write scripts for English dubs of anime. Recently, I'm Mika Nita in Hinamatsuri, Yukari Origami in Katana Maidens, Melda Dietz in the new Star Blazers, and others.
When do y'all sleep? You're like everybody right now.
That's so funny that you should say that because we literally just did a con together this past weekend. We have all the same cons this summer.
Yeah, so we've been just in each other's vicinity.
Yeah. It's like, I'll see you Thursday.
Yeah, pretty much. Sleep. You sleep eventually, considering, at least where I've worked, primarily you've gone through months upon months. You'll have months where you get called in 3 times and then you go months without hearing it. But that's kind of for later talk. But believe it or not, I do sleep a lot.
Oh, well, that's
I know.
good.
That's good. Good for you.
It's completely...
That's because I'm not a writer.
It's true.
It's completely random that
ones.
both your names are Caitlyn.
I think that's what drew us to each other.
Yeah, we're kind of a magnet. We've never actually been confused for each other. I'm actually very...
That's a lie.
Have we not?
Yes, we have.
I've been confused for Caitlin Glass and Juliet Simmons, but I've never been confused for you.
Remember that con that they had you doing a panel about a show that I wrote because they thought you were
right.
me? Yeah.
I forget. Normally it's when fans do it. I forget when con promoters do it.
Yeah.
That's a whole different one.
See, I love this because all the voice actors I've met and actresses, they all have this fun personality. They're just approachable and they're fun.
It's because you have to be a little bit insane.
I imagine you have to be everyone underneath the age of 11.
You have all these different characters that you inherit, so yeah.
Yeah, essentially. Plus, you have to be really able to go with the flow considering how the work schedule is for the industry as well. You have to be, if you're really stiff and uptight about it and take yourself super seriously all the time, I think you're going to have a bad time.
So let's start with you. What drew you to wanting to be a voice actress?
Well, so my story is actually pretty specific. I grew up a fan of anime.
Hold on. What was your first anime?
Huh? Sailor Moon and Ronin Warriors on USA.
Ronin Warriors! I found someone else who understands!
Yes!
Oh, yeah!
Sage! It was dubbed in English, and it was the time Sage, so all the names kind of got changed around.
There's
still adjusting to that.
There's no one that agrees with Gavin on that, so it's very nice to actually finally see someone else that does.
Those two were my first. They came on USA early in the morning, and my mother, who liked to sleep in, and I was a child who got up at 4 a.m., taught me to turn on the TV and entertain myself. So that's what I found on TV. And so from there, I kind of got drawn into anime, and then I became a generation of the Toonami block, essentially, like Dragon Ball Z, Tenchi Muyo, Tenchi Universe, Outlaw Star, Big O.
Oh, nice.
That entire block. And I can say the first thing that ever put a thought in my head was I was watching Dish Network. We had just gotten the dish, and I was flipping channels because my mom wasn't home and she was at the grocery store, and I was like, yeah, I can go on those channels. that no one is going to judge me for because no one's home. So I found the tail end of the movie Wrath of the Ninja. And that was like my first exposure to like super graphic anime. And I saw this creepy little girl bouncing ball before she turns into like a horrible monster. Which, spoiler alert, sorry for anybody who hasn't seen Wrath of the Ninja Scrolls yet.
We're known for spoilers. It's okay.
If you're 20 years late to that party, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think you're safe.
So I watched that, and then I was like, that's really cool. I have a really high-pitched voice. And then Princess Mononoke came over, and that just completely warped my sense of like, holy cow, this is beautiful. I want to add to that. And it was really kind of compacted when high school drama happened, and I was by myself a lot, and I played a lot of video games, and there was a game that a lot of people probably wouldn't know or thinks is really dumb. It's called Samurai Warriors, put out by
We
KOE.
know that game.
KOE, and there was a character known as Keiji Maeda, voiced by the one and only Steve Bloom in the first game, none of the other ones, sadly, and it was the game that I played when I was feeling down. And I lost myself in the character, the story between Keiji, Okuni, Goemon. I played it over and over and over again because when I felt bad, that's what I wanted to play because essentially the acting made me fall in love and brought me into the story. And when I got older and realized how much that helped me, I wanted to take acting and do that for someone else. And
Nice.
as much as I love stage acting, I'm always going to be hindered by the fact I'm small. Or my body shape doesn't allow me to play little girls or little boys easily without a lot of binding and pain, admittedly. I'm trapped in this figure that doesn't match with his stage ideals, and it sucks. So I really saw voice acting as a way to use a voice that a lot of people don't take me seriously for and transform it into a way that I enjoy bringing characters to life and at the same time in bringing a story to life for someone else to enjoy. Everybody has a favorite character. Every character I play is someone's favorite. I just might not know it.
Yeah.
So that's my hope to help kind of bring that to life and repay what was given to me to other people as well.
That's so influential. I love that.
Very nice.
Very-
And your story.
Okay. Well, how do you follow that?
Sorry, maybe I should have put it the other way around.
Yeah, mine's a lot more
It's all right.
concise than that.
Mine isn't.
No, but yours is heartfult and beautiful, and I
It's very
thank you.
sincere. I love it.
Yeah, no. I went to school for acting. Like, I wanted to be an actor, like, in the broader sense. So I got my degree in theater, and I moved to, well, I was from North Carolina, and I moved to Houston, Texas, which is where Sentai Filmworks is. And I did a lot of theater gigs and, like, on-camera stuff. A lot of the work I did was, like, theater for children. Like, so that was fun. I, like, toured around the state, like, you know, doing theater for little kids at schools. That was super fun.
One of those like don't do drugs, kind of like in the cafeteria going, man, I should have done that pot.
Oh man, I wish I did dare. No, it was this cool company. It's called Main Street Theater for Youth, and they had like a van, and they had like 5 actors, and they put all of the set in like a trailer, and we drove around Texas, and we like toured, and we went to elementary schools, and we would set up our show like in the cafeteria or whatever, and we'd do the play, and like for like 9 months it was Hank the Cowdog, and then for like 6 months it
Hank
was
the
Richard
Cowdog?
Scarry's Busy Town. Do you remember Hank the Cowdog?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You guys do? Okay, I was Pete the Barn Cat.
Yes.
Why are you guys laughing? It's a very
Oh,
serious
the nostalgia is just hitting me right now.
piece of, it's a masterpiece of theater, and I don't appreciate your laughter.
No, it's a good laughter. It's a good
I'm
laughter.
just kidding. No,
Okay.
It was fun.
Jeffrey's like, wait, don't hit me.
It's the nostalgia. It's all right.
Yeah, so that was super fun, playing Pete the Barn Cat all over Texas. And I got paid money for it, which was cool.
Hey, if it pays well.
Yeah, so like I made a lot of connections in the industry that way. Like some connections I didn't even realize I had made to like people who worked in anime. And eventually one day I got a call to audition at Sentai, and I did, and I got cast as Liliana in Log Horizon. And ever since then I've been sort of focused on voiceover, but I'm still an actor like in the broad sense.
And then
just
you
have no
decided to
time.
start writing them.
Oh yeah, and then so, about a year later I started script writing, which is a whole other story.
So what was your first experience with anime? What was the first ones you watched?
Okay, well I was a fan as a kid too. The Toonami kids. Definitely Sailor Moon and Pokemon.
Who doesn't like Sailor Moon and Pokemon? Like, okay, what's your favorite Pokemon?
God.
Vulpix and Mewtwo.
Vulpix and Mew.
Mine's Jigglypuff, and I bought a life-size Jigglypuff at a convention, and I still was the most normal person there.
Yeah, we have
Not surprised.
we had this weird like opposite thing.
I know, and it's the Vulpix thing. We didn't plan that.
No.
That's like, I had a Vulpix thing, and you were like, oh, Vulpix is your favorite too. What? I didn't know that your other favorite was Mew until
love
this moment,
Mew.
though. That's really
So,
so cute.
Jeffrey, what was your first anime experience?
My first anime experience, it always came on after Beavis and Butthead. It was Ian Flux. And it was and it was the, of course it's
Y'all make
pretty
me-
graphic, and that was sincerely the first anime I ever watched.
Y'all make me
And
feel
it
old.
always came on after Beavis and Butthead. I still have VHS tapes of the whole
Now he's
entirely
aging
original.
himself.
Yes, I am dating myself.
VHS, it's a Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball.
I've owned Dragon Ball in
Same.
every media format, but I grew up with Speed Racer,
Yes.
and my first outside of that was Fist of the North Star.
Oh my God.
I call it Blood the movie right there.
Actually, on that channel, a few days later, the one that I discovered Wrath of the Ninja, I found Fist of the North Star later.
I love Fist of the North Star.
I
fantastic.
love the chibi one that they came out with a few
Yes.
years ago. That one was my jam. That was so
I
funny.
haven't watched that, but
Oh,
it looks
it's-
hilarious. I haven't
Yeah.
played the KOE game either, and I've been really meaning to.
So we're going to be back with our special guests, the Catelyns, to talk about what it takes to be a voice actor after this, so stay tuned. And welcome back to our main topic of fan service, the journey of the voice actor. Harley's joining me for this one because she has lots of experience dealing with voice actors and voice acting and things like that. And what I want to talk about this time was what to expect when you're a voice actor, like voice training classes, like do you have to have 1 million voices? Do you have to be a master of 1,000 voices? So what was the first step for you to becoming a voice actor? Like you said you just showed up at an audition.
Well, that was the first step to becoming an anime voice actor.
Uh-huh.
But I was an actor, a professional actor for a while. I went to school for theater.
So you kind of already had that
yeah,
kind
I
of
had the
persona
training.
ready to go.
Yeah. A lot of the misconception about voice acting is that it's about doing funny voices or having a lot of different kinds of voices. But it's really more acting than it is voice. You have to be an actor. And the voices, that's secondary. Most of the time when you get called in for a part or for an audition, what they want to hear is your natural voice, like what you bring to the table. Because if you can do an impression of, Yoda or Elmo or Peter Griffin or whatever, guess what? They already have that. There are already people who are doing that, So it's not really about, sometimes you're going to have to do a funny voice or do an accent, but I'd say like 85% of the time, it's just your voice. So it's more about being an actor and having the training and the skill set. Also, improv is huge. You like to talk about improv. I'm going to let you talk about improv.
So I actually also have a theater performance degree. I got it in college. I used to work in dinner theaters up in Kansas for a very long time. Starting from childhood, I spent way too much time in theater, which is...
That's no such thing.
Yeah, there's not.
Yes, when you forget what color the sky is and what the grass is and what's come out for 4 years in college, you start wondering maybe I've spent too much time in that theater.
Yeah.
Which is a very accurate description of what college theater is, especially at a small school where you're acting, you're building the set, you're trying to study,
And you're sewing all the costumes.
sewing the costumes, hot gluing the props back together, probably volunteering for house manager, so you're making the program also. So you're essentially an all-in-one tool that you just forget everything, on top of being in an improv troupe, which is where I have a lot of specialty because I have been in improv troupe since high school, and I find that it is absolutely the most crucial skill in acting when transitioning from theater to voiceover work. Improv gives you the ability to think quick on your feet and make split-second decisions, and in the booth, you don't get prep time, especially nowadays. It used to be that you got called for a part, and you might get told what the title is in your character, so you could possibly watch the show in Japanese beforehand and see what you're going into. Now, in this generation of simuldubs, you find out who you're playing and what your show is week to week.
Or,
So,
literally
day by
when you
day.
walk in.
Yeah, literally,
Yeah, you walk in.
and it's right there.
It's right there. Here's the character design. Here's your script. Here's the show. Let's go. Yeah, you got to figure it out really quick, or else the director is going to be like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
You want to be good. You want to nail it. You want to be able to think on your feet and not freeze up, which is a lot harder than you think for actors sometimes to do. Not all stage actors translate well into a booth.
It's true. A lot of like amazing professional actors, because Houston has like a huge theater scene. They've brought in professional actors, you know, to audition for anime. And they're just these amazing stage actors that are playing like the leads in Shakespeare plays, like on this huge scale. And then they come in and they just bomb in the booth because it's a completely different skill set.
You're used to being able to read a script prior, so you know what you're doing, and then you walk in and you're like, wait, what the hell am I doing?
Also,
See, I didn't know it was like that. I thought you had a little bit more prep because it's not like you don't know who these characters are coming over, the producers.
No, a lot of people don't know, and if you're not caught up with what's current, you have no idea.
Yeah, if you're not a fan already invested in the next season of what shows are coming out, and you've narrowed it down to maybe it's for one of these shows,
If you're lucky.
you're going to be lost.
Yeah.
And it's still easy to get lost because there's so much coming out right now.
Yeah, there's so many new things. Like, I was just at A-Con a couple weeks ago, and I walked in, and I was like, holy crap, I don't know who half these damn characters are.
Right?
I'm like,
Right?
who the hell
I'm just
is
like,
that?
I don't know who that is. I'm behind.
I got really excited because there was an Alexander Anderson in the elevator, and I watched an Inuyasha walk across the hallway.
Inuyasha.
And then, so I got really excited about that. And then we had some blood elves walk across this crosswalk when we were pulling
Yes.
in. And then everything else, I
Good.
was like, I have no idea what the hell you are.
What's the most dangerous preconception of being a voice actor that you think is out there that people may glamorize?
That it's a day-to-day job.
Oh, that's a big one. Yeah, I was gonna say that the work is going to be consistent, sort of to that, but also I think people underestimate like how big the rejection factor is. A lot of people aren't good at taking criticism or taking rejection, and that is acting 101. That is the first thing you have to have is a thick skin and the ability to take rejection, because you might put in 100 auditions and maybe hear back from one of them. There are a lot of things that we audition for that the pool there's 200 people in the pool, and you're probably not going to hear back from most of the auditions that you turn in. You might not get a chance to audition for everything. It's a lot of rejection. You just have to be able to weather those like long months of maybe not hearing anything or not getting cast as much as you'd like or at all.
And be grateful for any opportunity you do get.
Oh yeah.
I used to, my main thing is I used to like doing side parts. And then when it stopped being a possibility because of me moving down here, I started doing audiobooks with my friends because my wife's boss writes books, and so she needed a female character, so I did all the voices for her audiobooks. And it wasn't an everyday thing. And the more and more I've been submitting things, the more and more rejection letters we've been getting. And it's just a slow process.
Is there that many people out there doing voice acting?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It is only growing year by year as anime becomes a more mainstream popular source, as a lot of us are people who did grow up with anime and are like, yeah, I want to be that character when I grow up. I want to be that person behind that voice. Everybody wants to do it now. Not everybody thinks about the acting aspect of it. They see anime and they just want to do it.
Yeah. I didn't have the original background that a lot of people do. I got my theater degree afterwards. I started trying to audition when I was 16. Going to A-Con, they had a booth set up, and it was a panel booth where they taught how to set up your own in-house studio. I literally have a mic in my closet. I panel off my closet, and I do most of my audition tapes in my closet.
And it's not just anime voice work. There's also video games and all sorts of other things.
Video
Do
games.
you go out for those as well?
There's a lot of indie video games that are out there right now, especially with Steam as an option now for indie gamers to put out product at this point. Sorry.
Do you think it's easier to do video games tryouts versus anime tryouts?
I'd say it depends, because if you're going in for an anime audition, generally, you know, the anime like talent pool is maybe not as big as the video game one, I would say, especially if, because that's a location thing for the most part. It's like if you're in Dallas, you're probably going to be auditioning at Funimation. You're not going to be auditioning at, you know, in LA. So, you know, the pool is a little more contained, but like I feel like the
At-home
video
games,
yeah.
especially those that are like, hey, have your own home studio, that's huge. That is a huge thing, especially with the technology available to people. So many guides are out there now showing you what to buy on Amazon, how to hook it up.
That's how I did it.
Massive. And I mean, not everybody needs a theater background. Steve Bloom wasn't in theater. He got discovered in a mailroom, which I think is really a cool story.
That's
awesome.
kind of a
I
cool
didn't know
story.
that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did. He was found doing voices in the mailroom. He's a really cool person to talk to about that sort of experience, because he suffers sometimes from imposter syndrome, because he's like, yeah, I'm not an actor. Like, no, you are.
Trust me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, with video games of the higher tier, the AAA, getting into those talent pools is far harder. Well, first off, we seem to used to have more of a scene here in Austin, but it seems to have kind of closed down and moved primarily over to LA with video games at this point. So a lot of work is LA, and because of this gets into kind of the game divide of, we've had a lot of mid-ground video games companies bought up and shut down, so you have a wide gap of indie games that are trying to get kickstarted that might make their quota that you get cast in, or those that are going to be in development heck forever. And
I like how she went heck.
I don't know why.
Heck.
Heck.
Gosh darn heck, Caitlyn.
Oh my god.
We're waiting for Kingdom Hearts for 15 years. Still can't get
we're-
casted.
Cast.
And welcome back to Fan Service. On our topic of Journey of the Voice Actor, we're joined by the two Caitlyns, which are awesome, Katelyn Fritsch and Katelyn Barr. We've been having a good time talking with you guys about what it takes to be a voice actor. Now,
Time for Debbie Downer to get on the stage.
Pocky's joining for this one. We're going to talk about the trials and tribulations of it, because, like I said at the beginning of the show, I was at animation school learning to be an animator when the whole controversy about hiring just celebrities instead of voice actors. It's your profession. And, you know, I know that there's some... I mean, I got a different node for the reality of what voice acting is. I thought you guys do this like every day. Like, I know there's probably some voice actors who do this every day who are like the big roles everywhere.
They're in LA.
Yeah, the people in LA. But so let's talk about some of the troubles of being a voice actor. I don't know how to put this. You probably have a better way to put this.
Because I'm the Debbie Downer. I have to be everything now. That's what I do.
Very Pocky.
I don't get me started on bubbles. But so with you guys, we talked about it a little earlier that you guys were talking about, like, what is the misconceptions? What's not just so much misconception, but what's something that people aren't, not just the rejection, but what's something that people aren't ready for as part of being a voice actor? What is it about your job that may put a social or even a personal stress on you?
You will always have those fans as an English dubber that no matter how much effort you put in, no matter how much time you dedicate to a role and research them, will seek you out to tell you, you suck, and I don't know why you're acting.
Oh, do they come with those weird, like, fanfic pictures that are like, oh, okay.
No, I've never had that. I've had people hunt me down just to tell me I suck. And I think a lot of people who get into this industry are also people that are like, I want to save dubs, or I want to do a character right. And once they get into that reality of not everyone's going to be happy with your performance, and it can be hard, and it's part of that growing a thick skin and realizing that if you are proud of that character and the director is proud of the work you did on that, that's what matters, and that someone enjoys it. Oftentimes the vocal minority on the internet are the only things you see until you start doing things like conventions where you find out in person to person how much something meant to someone. But those interactions can be rare, and it's easy to want to Google search your name and see what people are saying about you. And most of the time, it's not great. It can
Don't
be a
Google
little
your
harsh.
name.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. I've always been warned not to do it, and I occasionally do it. I did it for a while because I worked as a preschool teacher, and I always wanted to know if one of the parents Googled my name, what they would find.
Oh.
Valid.
I thought that was a really... most of them weren't going to watch anime, so I wasn't too worried about the types of show I did, but I wanted to see what fans said about me, just so they wouldn't be up in arms or upset when they saw something. But, you know, you kind of just live and learn with it, and you learn to shrug off people's comments because if they didn't like it, they probably just like the sub anyway, and you can't really change someone's mind off there. And most of the time, I watch the sub anyway, and I enjoy actresses like Ai Kayano. I've played 2 opposite roles to her, like Meitachi Bana and Shiro from No Game No Life. Both played by her, and I enjoyed her performances, and parts of my performance were inspired by her, but there's still those people that are like, this person never put any effort, which stems from I play a lot of monotonous characters, and in Japanese you hit every single sound when you're speaking, and English we have a very lazy language that drops sounds.
Oh, I speak that all the time.
Well, we drop sounds in our words, so when you're doing something that's monotonous like this, which is a voice I use a lot of times for characters that are quiet, younger, not showing a lot of emotion, people are very apt to say, well, she sounds bored. Well, the problem is, for us in English, that is going to sound bored because when you're saying something in Japanese, even nani sounds more energized because you have a bounce in your cadence.
And you as a writer, have you experienced a lot of that too, where people are like, what do you, in kanji, this means this, and you did this, which is totally different than this.
Oh my God, you get me. Welcome to my life.
I actually had a friend who did that, and I like, dude, you have to realize this thing called rhythm in language.
There's also this thing called the animation is already done.
Yeah.
So the mouth flaps, 9 times out of 10, if you don't like an adaptation decision in the script, it's because of what's happening with the mouth on the screen. We're extremely limited by that. Yeah, but going back to what you said about the people that you meet online, I would say that like most of the fan interactions you'll have online or what you like observe online is going to be negative. And most of what you see at a convention is positive. Like the conventions are where people are showing up, like they're paying money to be there. They want to see you. So it's
Probably not watching it on Kiss Anime.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing that like I think people don't think about is that don't tell me that you're watching anime illegally. I don't want to know. Don't do it, first of all. But those of you who are going to do it, don't come up to me at a convention and tell me that. Like, you know, that's like directly affecting the industry that we work in. Like, you know, if the companies that make the anime aren't getting the money from selling the product that they're putting together, that's bad. They're losing money. It's hurting them. It's actively hurting the industry. Stop pirating.
I think this is probably the industry where there's a bigger problem with pirating than anything else. Because back in the day, anime was super expensive. And it's gotten way more affordable now. And like I have a Crunchyroll Verve account. It's like $10 a month and I can watch all that anime.
It also, and this is me going even not as far back because I can't go as far back.
I used to pay $30 for 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Z on
That
VHS.
too. But there's
Yeah, Suncoast.
But it's also back in the day, there were 5 anime companies and they all wanted shonen titles. They all wanted Gundam, Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho. This is just going with what Funimation at one point had. Like ADV, it was either Evangelion or, you know, whatever their Kiss line would get. And it's like, I used to do fan subs because I wanted to watch Might Knight's Ramune 40 Fire Fresh. And there was no company who was ever going to pick up that anime because it's nothing but bad Japanese puns.
Yeah. Puns don't translate. At
No,
all.
puns don't.
I'm sorry, please attend my TED Talk about puns not translating.
I want to see that TED Talk.
I would go watch that
It's not a
because
TED Talk. It should be.
I live with a non-anime fan, and when he watches it with me, he doesn't always get it.
Yeah.
And I have to try to explain it to him. There's a cultural thing there. And he likes some of them, but the other ones, like he's a huge fan of the Death Note cartoon in the movie, but not the second half of the season where they went all kind of crazy with Nier and all that other stuff. So I imagine
Wait, there's a second half? I only watched where Elle died, and then after that, it's all over.
They're just like, done.
Sorry for a 10-year-old series
I
getting
think
ruined.
that's
If
the
you
other
haven't
thing.
watched it,
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, you're out of luck. I think that's the other thing to look at is you're dealing with a different culture's product. And you're at the mercy of whoever the producers are telling you this is what you have to do. So you can't just go in there and expect to be Mickey Mouse, let's go have some fun. And like you said earlier, it's not just voices. It's acting. And when I was a kid, like, I don't know who voice acted Speed Racer, but I used to laugh at that one. Oh no! Like, someone has to sit in there and do that.
But it's also, you got to look at, but also with that, you also, we can go into the whole thing about this, but different cultures, different standards. Nudity is one thing, violence is another, and like you can like.
Oh please, that's all in Fist of the North Star's nudity and the violence, the whole movie. I mean,
Well,
come
no,
on.
not even just the movie, like the series. As an example, Dragon Ball Z. There is a scene where you see Bulma's boobs straight up. There's not even question.
Not
Ranma
the
one half,
American
half
version,
the
by the
first
way.
series, first half of Ranma one half the series. You see female Ranma's boobs like almost every other scene.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rumiko.
Yeah.
So
But with kind of all this, fan interaction. I mean, people
it
have
has to be huge, but
it
it's
has
also got to be kind of scary, because there's no better way for me to put this. The anime culture can be a verge creepy at times. This is why I don't go to these conventions anymore, because I was at a convention and it was like free hugs everywhere and like teenage neckos and no one wearing any clothes. I was done. This is not the anime I grew up with, and it's coming back to that now. We've had a show about this before, but I imagine it's got to be a very fine line between, oh, this is a very nice picture you drew.
I don't know how much I want to actually say specific
Yeah, no,
examples.
I'm just saying
but
as
yes, we
a general
absolutely
thing.
agree
Be
with
prepared
you.
for that.
It's
I have
something. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. But I have a funny story about something. So
Okay.
Save that one because we're almost out of time.
This one and I protect each other at
Yes,
conventions. Be like, oh, we need to go now. Bye. Keep that to yourself.
If one of us is cornered, the other one will come up and grab, especially this year.
Like, oh, we have to go do this thing right now.
Yeah, especially when we don't have handlers. Luckily, a lot of conventions have gone through the process of giving you handlers, which are people who not only help you stay on task, and so you're not missing any of your panels that you might actually not have accidentally missed on your schedule, but they also keep people at bay, or you come up with safe signals to be like, hey, this person's being creepy, or this person's lingering too long. Oh, I want to say something, but it's really mean because it happened at this last convention. Actually, we were at. It was interesting because someone brought me up fan cast of shows that I'm just not in, but of other things, and he wanted me to take them and share them with all my voice actor friends so they could see it, and he wanted me to take pictures of myself with him and load it on my Facebook and tag him so people could see he was with me. But he wouldn't do it himself. He wanted to use me as a medium to do so. And
that's not creepy and weird.
I definitely think there was some challenges there, which I was a little more understanding, but it still doesn't make me feel dehumanized to feel like I'm a tool for someone to step into the industry, which I think is a really big issue at conventions sometimes. There are amazing fans all over the place, and mostly I've had positive experiences, but what you remember are those moments where you do feel either dehumanized by someone around you because they want to use you in a way that's like, oh, well, I just want to be around you because if I'm around you, maybe that's my stepping stone.
Yeah.
Or there's the people who essentially decide that because you're a voice actor and because you're supposed to have thick skin and you're there to entertain them, that they have the right to take your time and your attention, and that they have the right to follow you to your room.
Yeah, no. I'd be like, see ya.
Yeah,
Rule number one is don't let them know what room you're in.
I
Always.
did not want to.
I mean, not you personally. I just mean. Also, there's the people that think you're your character.
Yes.
Like,
Oh my
my
gosh.
God, Shiro, little sister.
Stop. I've had to make, so many people have asked me to call them Big Brother that I'm just like.
Yeah.
All right, so these are things to watch out for when you want to get into the world of voice acting. I want to thank you guys for being on the show with us today. It's been an amazing time. I've loved every minute of it, and we'll be right back to wrap up the show after this. Stay tuned. Hey, that's it for this episode of Fan Service. We've had an amazing time with the Caitlyns, Katelyn Barr, Caitlyn French. Thank you so much. Where can they find out more about you if they want to, maybe they don't know who you are, maybe they want to troll you now. Where can they find you?
You can find me at, first off, on Twitter at Caitlyn French V, and Instagram at Caitlyn French VA. See what I did there? Ooh. And then my website's a little out of date, www.caitlynfrench.com. If you go there, you're going to find a lot of things about tentacled horrors and Lovecraft on there because that's what I do in my spare time.
I like it.
That's a whole other fan service episode, though, so.
Oh, that's a good one to know because we're playing in that one.
So, yes, that's where you can find me. I keep Facebook private, so for the most part, find me there if you want to chat.
Please troll me on the internet. I'm just kidding. Don't troll me.
Too late.
I'll troll you back. Oh, they're already like. So I'm on Twitter as @KB, like BEE, like Bumblebee, KB. That's me, because that's cute. Instagram and Facebook are the same. It's Caitlyn Barr VA. Yeah, come find me. Come troll me. I'm ready.
So, did you guys have fun on the show today?
I
Yeah,
did,
thank you so much.
Did you come
We-
back?
Yeah.
Always.
We do lots of fun things here, so thank you guys immensely for being on. We love what we do, and I love getting more into the world of voice acting. I didn't know Harley did that much voice acting because she is way too busy for words.
I do a lot of weird things.